The Arrow of Light is the highest award that can be awarded in Cub Scouting. In fact, it is the only Cub Scout award that carries over and you are allowed to wear on your Boy Scout uniform. So this is a very big deal. And tonight we have several of our Webelos 2 scouts that have earned the right to wear that badge. So I'd like to ask for the following Webelos 2 scouts and a parent to please come forward. Jonathan Davidson, John Decker, Ben Hendricks, Marshall Hughes, Cameron Matthews, Caleb McGraw, Jimmy Ramsey, Alexei Samilikov, and Mr. Riley Underwood. And we got enough room on the stage. Okay, before we bestow the Arrow of Light Achievement, again, let me share with you, Webelos 2s, and let me share with all the fellow scouts with us tonight a little bit of meaning about the Arrow of Light emblem. Before you, those of you in the audience, you see on the stand the emblem of the Arrow of Light. It consists of an arrow with 7 rays of sunlight coming out of it. The arrow point points the way to the path of truth. Follow this path and grow to be a strong and honest man. The 7 rays symbolize not only that every day of the week is a brand new day, a day to do your best in everything, but specific virtues that, if you live by them, will bring you a successful life filled with joy. The first ray represents wisdom. Wisdom does not mean superior knowledge, but putting to the right use the knowledge that you have. The second ray represents courage, not the quality that enables men to meet danger without fear, but being able to meet danger in spite of the fears you may have. The third ray represents self-control. Self-control is not controlling your temper, but controlling and directing all the things you do. The fourth ray represents justice, dealing fairly with others without prejudice to race, color, or creed. The fifth ray represents faith. Faith in Almighty God, being sure of what you hope for, but being certain of what you do not see. The sixth ray represents hope, expecting things with confidence. And the seventh ray represents love. Love of God, family, home, and country. Webelos, as a Cub Scout, you've been guided through the Cub Scout trail with the help of many of Caleb. Soon, when you become a Boy Scout, you will find that while there are still many people willing to help, you yourself take on more and more responsibility for blazing your own trail to Eagle Scout. You've been called before the pack tonight because you have satisfied the requirements of the Arrow of Light. We commemorate your membership tonight by marking your faces as a sign of the journey that you have completed and for the journey you will now undertake. I have some questions for you that I need you to respond to. If you accept my challenge tonight, Webelos 2s, please answer, I promise. Okay? The first band of color to go on your face is blue. The blue is to remind you of the lessons you learned as a Cub Scout. You notice a Cub Scout's uniform is blue. Remember the lessons that the Tiger Cubs are learning and that all the other Scouts do as well. The spirit of giving, goodwill, and of doing your best. To the candidates for the Arrow of Light, do you promise to fulfill the Cub Scout promise and the Cub Scout motto to do your best when you receive the Arrow of Light badge? If so, please say, I promise.
I promise.
The second band of color to go on your face is white. White represents the Scout Law. As you move into Boy Scouts, youth and adult leaders will cheerfully show you the skills that you need, but it's up to you to live up to the 12 points of the Scout Law. Every day you'll be faced with decisions, and at times the trail will seem very difficult to follow. So make your choices by always remembering the Scout Law. In all you do you promise to be forever trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent? If so, please say, I promise.
I promise.
The third band of color is yellow. This color itself stands for the arrow of light. Each boy has blazed his own trail toward the arrow of light award, and now this arrow of light will help them to remember their promise to keep the spirit of Cub Scouting alive. As this color is applied upon your face, commemorating this achievement in your life, do you promise to continue to let its light shine forth from you, to set an example to others, your fellow scouts, family, friends, to set the example to others to follow in your footsteps, to set your eye on the prize of the eagle, and to never waver in these commitments? If so, please answer, I promise.
I promise.
All right, the last band that we place upon your face tonight is the color green. Green, for those of you who may not know, is part of the color of the Boy Scout uniform. And tonight, green always symbolizes growth. Tonight, we take it and mark it upon your faces as the symbol that you have are moving out of Cub Scouting and into Boy Scouting. It symbolizes the beginning of your path toward an eagle as a Boy Scout. As Mr. Decker applies the paint to you, prepare yourselves to very soon to no longer be known as Weeblo Scouts, but as Boy Scouts. Do you promise to keep the Scout oath on your honor, to do your best for God and your country, to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, and to keep yourselves physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight? If so, please say, I promise.
I promise.
All right. I now invite you, as you recall, to take an arrow from Mr. Decker and to pass it through the flame of the candle before you. Life brings us all many hardships. We go through the fire, so to speak. Yet we are able to endure them due to our faith in God and our virtues. As you pass your arrow through the fire, should you be found to be worthy of this award, the arrow will burn, but will not be consumed. Mr. Jonathan Davidson. Mr. John Decker. Mr. Ben Hendricks. Mr. Marshall Hughes. Mr. Cameron Matthews.
You need more.
Took the flame out.
Mr. Caleb McGraw. Mr. Jimmy Ramsey. Mr. Alexei Sinulikov. Mr. Riley Underwood. And now you parents are on stage for a reason. We have a question for you. These Wiglow Scouts have faithfully promised to always keep alive the spirit of Cub Scouting. As their parents, do you also promise to continue to help your son in this continuing scouting adventure? If so, please answer, we do. Over the years, as badges have been awarded, a lot of you parents have pinned your awards on your sons. Tonight we're turning things around a little bit. As they begin the transition to Boy Scouts, we now ask the Weeblows to pin upon their mom or dad a miniature arrow of light. So when Mr. Decker hands you those, if you would please pin them on your parent. And for each of the scouts, we also have, Mr. Decker has your awards, but we also have some plaques that are for you to take home, put up in your room. They have hooks underneath where you can actually hang up your Arrow of Light award. And as we hand these out, I would ask you to help me congratulate the Weeblows 2s that have earned this Arrow of Light. Thank you, guys.